how do you begin your journey to owning your home? The first thing is, of course, to become a member of GHOS. Once you become a member of GHOS, you must make your contributions. Your contributions must have been made for a minimum period of 18 months before you qualify to apply for a loan. If you are not ready at the 18-month level, you are free to contribute for longer periods before you apply for a loan. The second thing that you need to be able to apply for a loan is a minimum deposit of 20% of the value of the house that you choose. Now, how can you make your 20%? You can make your 20% by taking your contribution as at the time that you are applying for a loan and the interest that it has earned as part of that 20% deposit. Then you will have to add a cash component which will enable you make the 20%. Please note that 20% is the minimum. Members are free to make a deposit of more than 20%. If you do this, it means that you will borrow less, and it also means that you will be able to finish paying for your house in a shorter period of time. Here's an illustration of how the 20% principle works. Assume that you are buying a house that costs 100,000 Ghana cedis. Your 20% minimum deposit required will be 20,000 Ghana cedis. Let's assume that at the time that you are making the application for a loan, your contributions plus interest amount to 3,000 Ghana cedis. If you take 3,000 Ghana cedis out of the 20,000 Ghana cedis minimum deposit required, you will be required to make a top-up contribution of 17,000 Ghana cedis. Once you have met this minimum contribution level, you are then eligible to apply for a loan. The maximum loan that you will be granted will be 80,000 Ghana cedis, subject to the conditions we have discussed earlier, which are the level of your salary, the amount of contributions that you are or deductions that are already being made from your salary, and your salary level. So it is important that you take note that though 80% in this scenario amounts to 80,000, you may not necessarily be eligible to apply for 80,000. This is where the ability to pay more than 20% becomes very necessary. Now, this is what your home ownership journey will look like from the pictures that we've illustrated. You will see on the arrows to your left that right at the bottom you have your accumulated contributions plus interest. Then you will see that just above that is the cash top-up. And when you look to your right, that accumulated contributions plus interest and the cash top-up constitute the minimum 20% deposit. In the event that you decide to make a deposit of more than 20%, then your ownership in your house will be greater than 20% at the time that the loan is given you. Whatever amount you are given, you are taking as the value of your house, you realize that when you take out the deposit, which is a minimum of 20%, the rest will be what you have borrowed from GHOS. And so that will be represented as GHOS's collateral interest in your property. In this case, using the minimum as we have given you, then your deposit will be 20% and GHOS will have a collateral interest of 80%. Now, here we show you what happens to your ownership and GHOS collateral interest once you start loan repayments. So we introduce a green band, which on your left, when you look at the arrow, it represents your loan repayments, and on the right, you see that the area that covers members' equity ownership has grown from the minimum 20% to include your loan repayments. And you also see at the top on the right hand side that GHOS collateral interest has reduced considerably. Now, at the end of the process, when you have fully repaid your loan, then GHOS will have no interest at all in the property, and 100% ownership will be by the member. This is the scenario when you are buying a house that is built on land that is owned by GHOS. Let me take you to what the scenarios will look like when we build the house on your own land. When we build a house on your own land, then you are coming to the party with the value of your land as part of your equity ownership. And so we have denoted that in purple at the very bottom of the picture. And when you look at the purple arrow to your left, it tells you that that area represents the value of the member's own land. Then, in addition to that, you will be expected to make your 20% minimum deposit towards the cost of the house that is going to be built on your land. And so that 20% will typically be made up of your accumulated interest and contributions, as well as your cash top-up to make the 20% minimum deposit. Once again, I will repeat that members are free and are encouraged to make a deposit greater than 20% if they so wish, because this will help you to finish paying off for your house earlier than scheduled. And it will allow you to release your funds to be able to go and invest anywhere else and in anything else that you so wish to invest in. This then means that whatever you are borrowing from GHOS is what will represent their collateral interest in your property. When we say collateral interest, please note that it is not ownership. It is just the fact that GHOS they will take out a lien on your property. This is only to prevent you from being able to use that property as collateral to borrow money anywhere else until such time that you have finished paying GHOS. So once you finish paying GHOS, GHOS will release your property to you completely, and you will be able to use your property as collateral for anything that you wish to use it for. Once you start your repayments, then in addition to the value of your land and your deposit that you have paid, your repayments then come to help you increase your ownership of the structure that has been built on your land. And GHOS's collateral interest will begin to reduce. Once you have finished paying GHOS in full, you then will own your house 100%. And that means that GHOS will no longer have a lien over your property, and GHOS will no longer be able to prevent you from using your property as collateral for future borrowing from any other source. So now that we have finished telling you about how you can own your house, I think we owe it to you to tell you what are the objectives that we have to ensure that the houses that are built for you are built to the agreed and regulated specifications and are of the best quality. One of the things that we will look at from a technical perspective is to ensure that the designs for the houses are appropriate.